Okay, there were some questions over number 59, so I have made a short video to kind of explain this problem to you. I believe that the problem talked about deciles. It mentioned that the deciles of a distribution are at the 10th and the 20th, etc., all the way up to the 90th percentile. So it was asking, it mentioned that the first and last deciles were, the first one was the 10th percentile and the last one was the 90th. What you want to keep in mind when we're talking about percentiles is this is really giving you the area. Okay, when we talk about percentiles, this is the area to the left. Okay, and specifically, this would be the area to the left would be 10%, and the area to the left of this would be 90%. So part A was asking, what are the first and the last deciles of a standard normal distribution? So the key here is the word standard. When you see the word standard, that means z-scores, okay? So what this is asking for is it wants to know what's the z-score for the first decile, or the 10th percentile, and what would be the z-score for the last decile, which is the 90th percentile. I think you're going to find that when you draw a picture and label the information that you're given, it makes answering these problems a little bit easier. Okay, so if we're in the world of z-scores, we know down the middle is a 0. Now, while I might not know off the top of my head what the z-score is that has the area to the left of it being 10%, I certainly know that it should be over here on this side somewhere. I'm just going to put a question mark there because I don't actually know what that z-score is. That's what we're trying to solve. But I'm going to go ahead and shade the area to the left of that. So that is representing 10%. The first decile is the 10th percentile, which means the area to the left is 10%. Okay, now I could use the standard normal table on the laminated formula sheet, or we could use the inverse norm feature. Remember, this is the feature where you are given the area to the left. Okay, we have to know the mean, we have to know the standard deviation, and if I'm in the world of z-scores here, I'm going to be using as my mean 0 and as my standard deviation 1. Okay, so this is what I'm going to type into the calculator. I'm pressing second and the distribution function, which is the vars key, and I'm putting these three inputs in, and I see on my calculator it's going to tell me the z-score is negative 1.28. Okay, that is the standard normal distribution location, the z-score, for the first decile. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing here for the last decile. So now I'm looking at something where I'm looking for it. Now what's that z-score? But now everything to the left of that is 90%. So again, I'm going to do inverse norm. Okay, I'm going to put 0.9 here. And again, I know it's hard to remember to do this, but you have to write these labels underneath. You have to get in the habit of doing that, or on the AP test, you won't be given credit. So it's crucial you're writing area to the left, mu, standard deviation. We're going to type that in, and that's going to give us that the z-score is 1.28. Okay, so that answers part A. Now in part B, it's a very similar problem, only now it's not asking you for what the z-scores would be at each of these places, but now it's asking you to think of a distribution. I think this is talking about the heights of women maybe, and they're giving you that the average height down the middle would be 64.5. Okay, so we're looking for what is the height now, not the z-score, but the height where 10% of the women would be shorter than that height. Okay, so I'm going to do inverse norm again. I'm going to plug in 0.10 as the area to the left. But now for the mean and the standard deviation, I'm using the mean and the standard deviation of this distribution, the 64.5 and the 2.5 for the standard deviation. Okay, I'm going to type this into the calculator here. let's see, I'm typing this in here. 0.10, 64.5, 2.5. That's going to land me at a height of roughly 61.30 inches. Okay, so the height of 61.30 inches, that's the first decile of this distribution because that's the 10th percentile. Okay, you get the gist here, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm looking for that height value, which means all the area to the left is 0.9. I'm going to write down my calculator inputs here. Mu, sigma, area to the left. Okay, only I'm not talking about z-scores. I'm talking about this specific set of data where I'm given the mean and I'm given the standard deviation. And so that would land me at a height of 67